Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all so much for joining us. This is an important and great day here on this beautiful fall day. It's great to be with a bipartisan group of legislators who represent all of us here in Jefferson County. We'll get to more of that in a moment. We are here to talk about the future of our city and the future of our Commonwealth. Right now, there are people throughout Louisville and throughout Kentucky who are working hard to take advantage of the unique moment that we're living in. It's a moment when our cities and our Commonwealth's economy are creating jobs and opportunities and attracting investments to a degree we've never seen before. It's incredible. Just yesterday, we announced the largest economic development project in over a couple of decades in West Louisville with the new Stellar Snacks manufacturing facility. As mayor and as someone who grew up here in Louisville, it's wonderful to see this extraordinary progress happening in our hometown. And as an incredibly proud Kentuckian, I'm also thrilled to see once-in-a-generation investments happening in other communities all across our state. Metro Louisville is the economic engine of our state. So that means when Louisville succeeds, Kentucky succeeds. And fundamentally, we are all in this together. And it is in that spirit that I'm announcing our administration's legislative priorities for the upcoming session of the Kentucky General Assembly. I wanted to make this announcement right here in the heart of our city, where things are very different than they were before the pandemic. And that's true in downtowns all across America. While tens of thousands of people come to work every day in downtown Louisville, the reality is that there are far fewer than before 2020. Yet we know that for Louisville to be one of the fastest growing, most vibrant, authentic cities of the future, we must revitalize downtown. And that revitalization requires innovation and investment. If you look around where we are right now, you'll see office spaces with for lease signs. But I see opportunity, tremendous opportunity, if we get the support we need from our elected leaders in the General Assembly who represent all of Kentucky. Which is why I'm so happy to have members of the Kentucky General Assembly with me here today, a bipartisan group of legislators. We have Representative the House Majority Whip, Jason Nemes, Representative Chester Burton, Representative Keturah Herron, and the Senate Minority Leader, Gerald Neal. We're also going to be joined very shortly by Representative Rachel Rorks. Thank you all for coming and being with me here today. Thank you for representing Louisville, and thank you for engaging in the conversations that we have had that have led our administration to this point of releasing our policy agenda. And I know, and it won't surprise anyone here, that not all of us, and certainly not all of us in the General Assembly, agree on everything. But I do believe that there is broad support for economic development incentives and small business growth. We can spur new capital investment by expanding and revamping existing state tax incentives. The Kentucky Investment Fund tax credit, the Kentucky Enterprise Investment Act, and the Kentucky Business Investment Program should all be updated so we can better compete in the post-pandemic economy, or that simply need more funding, significant funding, so we can dramatically change the future trajectory of not just our city, but the entire state of Kentucky. We can generate an explosion of new startup businesses through a major infusion of funds, through existing programs that are already on the books, like Commonwealth Seed Capital, Keyhorse Capital, and other state entities. We must also ensure that initiatives that support small businesses, minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses are fully funded, firing on all cylinders, and have every opportunity to compete and succeed. So let's build on the programs that we already have in our state so that we can more quickly ramp up business growth and fill the floors of these office towers all around us, fill the storefronts of these buildings, and fill commercial properties throughout Louisville and all across the state. Making major investments to create, attract, and grow businesses is a big step, and these incentives can benefit our downtown. They can also benefit J-Town, Elizabethtown, and every other town all across the Commonwealth of Kentucky, creating wealth-building opportunities for everyone. But we all know it's not just the businesses. We must also make Louisville great for workers, employees, and people all across our state. And unlike most of our peer cities, Louisville right now is losing population for people who are in their prime working ages. Talent is among the fiercest forms of competition that we face right now. And we know that the talented young workforce of the future, the people we need to move to Louisville, the people who grew up here that we need to stay in Louisville, want dense, walkable cities. And this is where we have another incredible opportunity. Unlike many other cities, Louisville did not tear down many of our older buildings. You see several examples right behind me. These relatively smaller, older buildings are ideal for residential conversions, as well as hotel, entertainment, and other non-office uses. We can and must build an entirely new residential neighborhood here in downtown Louisville and in other towns across Kentucky through major investments in office conversions. And that is why I'm asking our state leaders for a fund to help us make that happen. We can also build on the incredibly impressive amenities that we already have, like Waterfront Park, which the state is helping us expand into West Louisville. And just a few blocks from here, down 5th Street, we have another amazing opportunity for the city. One that will beautifully complement Waterfront Park, which already attracts millions of people each year to downtown Louisville. I want to be bold with this one and implement a new master plan to completely reimagine the Belvedere compared to what it is today. That plan is already underway thanks to some funding from the Metro Council in our last unanimously passed bipartisan budget. I can't wait to reveal how we can completely transform the Belvedere and turn it into something really special. I think it will blow your mind. And with funding support from the Kentucky General Assembly, we will make that happen. There are so many exciting things happening in Louisville that need the General Assembly's support to get to the next level. These are one-time funding requests that can change Louisville for generations. With new resources, we can help create an entertainment and residential district around Lynn Family Stadium so we can build on the growing popularity of our men's and women's soccer teams and other events that incredible stadium can host. We can advance the LUMED project to create a campus-like environment in the heart of our downtown medical district with infrastructure and safety improvements. Let's make downtown the place to be, the place to work, and the place to live. Let's be, yes. Let's be a city of the future with a thriving economy that benefits every Louisvillian and every Kentuckian. Now let's be clear. This plan, our administration, is not only focused on downtown. We are focused on our entire city, our entire community. We need investments in every part of our city. And I believe that one of our greatest assets all across our city is our parks. And we can do so much more with them. That is why I'm asking for state investments from Shawnee Park to Iroquois Park to the Louisville Loop in eastern Jefferson County. We're asking for funds for the new Algonquin Park Aquatic Center and U of L's world-class natatorium and public pool that is in the planning stages. We're also proposing an Ohio riverfront investment strategy that includes the East End Bridge, where we need a connection to US 42 for better access, and Riverport, where I'm requesting major infrastructure investments to generate new economic development in the southwestern part of our city. We also need new safe roads and new sidewalks in every part of our city, particularly those parts of our city outside of the Waterson Expressway. And we can jumpstart those projects through a new investment fund that the state can help us create. All of these initiatives and projects will build the future we want for our city and for generations to come. They are things we need to do, and they are things that we can afford to do right now. But I also want to talk about a few things that we can't afford not to do. Let's start with our youngest kids. We need to make free, high-quality pre-K education a reality for all 3 and 4-year-olds across the entire Commonwealth. So I'm proposing that we start with a 2-year pilot program right here in Louisville, targeting improved educational outcomes, supporting working parents, and increased workforce participation. This will lead to transformative change and set up our future generations for a lifetime of learning and success. We also have to address the challenges of individuals who are currently experiencing homelessness. That's why our proposal includes a request for support for the Community Care Campus, an innovative approach we're implementing to make it easier for people to get the help they need to transition into permanent housing. And we need more affordable housing in every neighborhood in Louisville. And I mean every neighborhood, not just in other people's neighborhoods. And this is where our leaders in the General Assembly are critical. We need a statewide affordable housing tax credit for multifamily housing and homes for first-time home buyers. We are one of the few states in the country that doesn't have this affordable housing tax credit, and it shows here in Louisville and in other cities across the state. In addition to that, I'm also asking for one-time dedicated state funding, $50 million for the Louisville Affordable Housing Trust Fund to implement our recently announced comprehensive affordable housing plan for all of Metro Louisville. We're also proposing changes to help residents stay in their homes, to protect tenants, and keep bad actors from buying up vacant properties. Clearly, we're asking, yes. I know that we're asking for a lot from our General Assembly, but our state right now happens to be blessed with the largest rainy day fund in the history of the Commonwealth. More than $3 billion. That's billion with a B. So let's fix the drought of investment in Louisville and in our future by investing in Louisville right now. I will do my part. We are going to make investments here in Louisville with city funds in many of these projects. We will put in the work that is needed to make these projects and initiatives a reality. Which brings me to my final priority. This entire plan, everything I've talked about, everything our administration wants to accomplish is contingent on one thing, and that's people feeling safe and being safe at work, at home, at school, at their banks, at their grocery stores, on our streets. Metro government is taking action to strengthen public safety. But there are limits to what we alone in the city government can do when it comes to improving public safety, and particularly when it comes to reducing gun violence. So I'm urging the General Assembly to give us in Louisville the autonomy we need to tackle our unique urban violence epidemic, to tackle the gang and gun violence crisis that is facing us in Louisville right now. We need more support for our local police, more funding for equipment like license plate readers and flock cameras and other resources that can help prevent crime from happening and resolve crimes that do, including a very narrowly targeted state wiretapping law. And the General Assembly should also give cities the ability to destroy weapons that are used in murders and other violent crimes. When a gun is used to harm people or worse, that gun should never be back on the streets. We need to continue these conversations about how to improve public safety and reduce violent crime. And we will continue to have those conversations. The Chief of Police, who's with us here today, and others in my administration have already had constructive conversations with leaders of the General Assembly. Some of that is reflected in our agenda here today. But the bottom line is that whether you live in a city, a suburb, a small town, or a rural community, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent, we all want and deserve to feel safe in our communities and to be free from gun violence. We all want our kids to have a better education, and we all want an economy that keeps producing good-paying career path jobs close to our home. We all want more affordable housing for more people. We all want better infrastructure for our community. I was so proud that we passed my first budget as mayor with unanimous bipartisan support. Our administration is working to build on that momentum and build that same kind of bipartisan support to enact these priorities for Louisville, working with members of the General Assembly. And I'm so thankful to the 5 members of the General Assembly that are here with me here today, who are committed to working together to create the transformational change that we want and need for our city and for our entire state. We've got a lot of work to do, but I'm confident that by working together in a bipartisan fashion, even when we don't agree on everything, that we will make meaningful change in this upcoming session of the General Assembly for the people of our city, for the future of our city. And just wait, Louisville and all of Kentucky will soon be the talk of the entire country. We will be a safer city, a stronger city, and a healthier city. Thank you all so much for being here, and let me introduce 2 amazing public servants who are leaders of their respective chambers in the General Assembly. First, the longtime serving minority leader of the Senate, our very own, my good friend, Gerald Neal.
Thank you. Good afternoon. First of all, I want to thank the mayor, Mayor Greenberg, for his leadership, for his vision, and for his obvious commitment to this community. I was with him yesterday when what he was talking about was actually in real time put forth to the public in establishing something in West Louisville that has not been seen in decades. Establishing an initiative that will produce 350 jobs, stable jobs, with an emphasis on identifying those 9 neighborhoods that circle the Park Hill area in terms of filling those jobs. I think that's tremendous. I want to give a hand to our governor, but I also want to give a hand to our mayor for his involvement, encouragement, and support. Thank you, Mayor Greenberg. You know, the business that we're in is difficult. It's difficult because there are great needs that are out here, and it's difficult to meet all of those needs. And people are all vying for the resources necessary to make those things happen. But I'm delighted to hear what I've heard today, because not only are these things needed, these things are doable. And it's at a moment in history where we can do it. So I think if we set politics aside just a little bit and focus on people, not only the people of Louisville, because this is transferable to what? Kentucky. Any community that you're talking about in Kentucky. So Louisville can be a leader in this regard. It can be an example of what we can do. It can be a demonstration of an outcome that we all desire. So I'm delighted to be here with my colleagues in the General Assembly and pledge to work toward that end that the mayor has laid out here. The mayor's legislative priorities provide a groundwork for serving and improving every neighborhood in our city. That's powerful. By addressing safety, education, housing, and economic development, this mayor and his administration, I am convinced will continue to provide common sense solutions to the various issues our community faces. Improving public safety. What a tremendous focus. It seems simple, but it's really very fundamental. Establishing universal pre-K, obviously, something that no one can really work against. We all need that. And investing in more affordable housing. Where are you if you do not have a decent place to live? So these are things that are basic, they're fundamental, and they're common sense. The list that the mayor has articulated here today isn't just another government action. It's a call for collective responsibility. And that's what's important here, collective responsibility. Not your shop, my shop, someone else's shop, it's our shop. And when we come together, there's no problem we cannot solve. Mayor Greenberg has stayed in constant communication with members of the General Assembly. I appreciate, Mayor, your tenacity in reaching out to me and sharing information and parts of your vision. And I say here today that we can get this done if we work together, and we will get this done. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Senator Neal. Everybody knew that Senator Neal and I have been good friends for a long time, so nobody was probably surprised to see him here today. There might be some that are surprised for our next speaker, including the next speaker. Yes. But I'm not surprised, because when I started running for office, I was very clear. I was very clear that I believe the role of mayor is for everyone in Louisville, regardless of where you live in the city, regardless of what your party is, regardless of every belief that you have on every issue, that we all have more in common than we do apart. And so it's our obligation as elected officials to work together whenever we can. And as I've gotten to know better over the past 9 months of being mayor, our next speaker, that's become abundantly clear that he and other members of his party that represent our county feel the same way. And so I'm very proud and thankful that our House Majority Whip is here with us today, representing the eastern part of Jefferson County, and a leader in the State House of Representatives, House Majority Whip Jason Nemes.
Thank you, Mayor. I feel like the ball has been transferred to us, Gerald.
Yes.
My friends in the House of Representatives, but it's 3rd and 2, and this mayor doesn't decide to move the chains and run the ball. He says, "Go long." We got a lot to do, and so I think that's why I'm here. I'm excited. I'm really excited about our town. We love our town. We've got a great town. We've got problems. Doesn't everybody? But we have a lot of really good things going for us. And one of the things that we have, one of the things that I'm excited about is I think we have the right man in the mayor's position. We're not going to agree on everything. We're going to frustrate one another. There's no doubt about that. But when we frustrate one another, let's get on the phone, as we've done over the last 9 months, and let's have conversations. Say, hey, why do you think this? I think that. Or, okay, we're not going to agree on this, but let's go do something else. Let's go do this other thing. And when I look at this plan that Senator Julie Rocky Adams and I met with the mayor about a couple of weeks ago, maybe it was last week, I don't recall the date. When we met about this, I was thinking, look at this. This is big. These are big economic development programs. These are big workforce development. They're big home, get people into homes, get people into affordable housing. Obviously, putting public safety up front is a major issue for all of us, no matter where we live in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And we know here that as Louisville goes, Kentucky goes. And so I guess I'm still running. The ball's in the air. I'm going to try my best to catch it. We're going to fight with all we've got to help our community. And I think we have a speaker in the House of Representatives and the president in the Senate who care a lot about Louisville, and they're going to do the same. But so I'm here because I'm excited about Louisville. But I want to say one more thing. I'll end where I started. I'm really excited about Craig Greenberg. This hasn't happened before, where the leader of our city, or it hadn't happened since the Republicans took over the General Assembly, where the leader of Louisville has come to us and said, here's my priorities, here's our priorities in Louisville. What can we do? What are your priorities? How can we work together? And so I'm excited about that opportunity. We call, we text, Some of it is not always in agreement, but we're talking. And I believe in Mayor Greenberg, and I will say that Gerald and I, when he said we're great public servants, we're going to cut that clip and send it to all our constituents. But anyway, we got a great town. We're in a moment where we must do the right things. If we don't, we're in trouble for generations. We got the right leader on the second floor in this building, and the 5 of us here and a lot of our colleagues in Frankfurt, I think, are going to do all we can do to come through for our town. So thank you, Mayor, for having me here today, and thanks, everybody, for being here.
Thank you, Jason. And again, also a special thanks to Representative Rourke, to Representative Chester Burton, and Representative Keturah Herron for joining us here as well. All of the representatives, Senate and House, we need to engage their effort, their collective energy and passion, not just about our city and county, but about what it means for the entire state to make some of these projects a reality. And the final thanks that I want to give is to the amazing, hardworking colleagues that I have in our administration. My deputy mayors, chief of staff, everyone else, department directors, everyone else that is part of the 5,000-person team of Louisville Metro government has played a role in this, has given me either the ideas or the confidence that we should be bold, as Jason just said. We should go for the long pass, because that's what Louisville wants, that's what Louisville needs, and that's what Louisville deserves. So thank you, friends and colleagues, for your role in getting us to this point and for your help in turning these things into reality. I am truly honored to be mayor of Louisville and to have 5,000 amazing colleagues at Louisville Metro government. Thank you all very much, and we're happy to take any questions from the media. Sure. So the question, for those who couldn't hear, was about the community care campus. We are very excited about where we are. We got several high-quality bids from known healthcare organizations and social service providers that we are confident can implement the vision to make the community care campus a unique, innovative model to provide more services and shelter to individuals who are homeless. This proposal here will help make that a reality even quicker. With the money that we've asked for here, it will go into additional capital projects to make those services come online quicker. So we do not plan to reopen the RFP. We're almost done with that process and are very excited to announce the results of that process so we can get going and open it up. This will help speed it and make that happen quicker.
How personally involved do you anticipate being launching the legislation for this plan, and what might that look like in terms of your involvement in Frankfurt?
I plan to spend a lot of time on I-64 in January, February, and March, as do other members of my administration. And I plan to spend even more time in the halls of the General Assembly, working with the 5 friends that have here today and their colleagues so that everyone understands this is not just about Louisville. This is about the entire state of Kentucky. When Louisville does well, Kentucky does well. And so I'm looking forward to it. I've already had great conversations with not just the Jefferson County delegation, but leadership of the state, of the Senate and House from across the Commonwealth, and will continue to do so.
How crucial is the $40 million for pre-K? And without that $40 million, how would that affect the timeline of getting that pilot program?
Yeah. So let me be clear, this is just a start. That's why we're calling it a pilot program. Our Early Learning Action Group is meeting every 2 weeks. And right after the first of the year, we'll be announcing a very detailed plan about how we can make universal pre-K a reality for all of Louisville. This is, this is a start to help jumpstart that project to make it a reality. It is going to have to be a much larger public-private partnership involving the local and national philanthropic community, existing child care providers, the city government providing funding support. All of us are going to need to work together. This can help make that a reality. And I'm proud that on that Early Learning Action Group, Senator Julie Rocky Adams is one of the members of that group. And so she's been giving advice as to how we can partner with the state and was instrumental in encouraging us to make this proposal. Ines? Yeah. Yeah, the question was about local autonomy as it relates to violent crimes and gun violence. Every community has its own unique circumstances. Every community wants to be safe, wants everyone to feel safe and be safe. Here in Louisville, we are dealing with a gun violence epidemic. Far too many people are being shot and killed with guns. And I understand that this is a challenging issue. I understand this is one of the issues that many of my friends in the General Assembly and I might not agree on. But what I hope we're able to convince others of is that the challenges and the challenges to ensure everyone is safe in more rural parts of the state, in East and West and Southern Kentucky, are different than here in Louisville. And so as opposed to the state having to get involved in what they do to reduce the amount of gun violence, they simply give us in Louisville the autonomy to implement rules here for our city that we believe will uniquely help us reduce the amount of gun violence in our city. I know that we all share that same goal, and I'm hoping through conversation we can get that autonomy for our city. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've met with members of Mayor Greenberg's administration briefly about the Safer Kentucky Act, and we're working more on that. Look, we all agree that there are issues that face Louisville that don't face other areas, and so we want to make sure that we can address those. So we're trying to reach that in creative ways. Also want to note that some places in Louisville are different than other places in Louisville, and so we want to make sure that we protect the rights of everybody while we're trying to figure out how to address crime throughout our community. But, and this, as the mayor said, this is an area where there is some disagreement. But with that disagreement has come some very frank conversations among the mayor, Senator Adams, myself, and leadership in the House and the Senate, other than Julie and me. And so, today is about the mayor's recommendations, and we're gonna focus on those today. But I will say that we're strongly in support of trying to make sure that our community is safe, and we'll iron out the details. But I think the mayor has brought a good effort, and now it's our turn to return the volley. Wiretapping is certainly one. Carjacking is another. There are many others. The destruction of the firearm is one that we're trying to work on to figure out if we can get done in a way that I can sell to my colleagues. A lot of people think that won't reduce crime. A lot of people do think it will. So, is it a big step? And how can we get there? Is what we're trying to do. So. We're trying to meet the mayor at what he thinks is the major priorities are. He's been elected to run our city, and it's our job to try to give him the tools to do that, while at the same time obviously making sure that we protect the rights of everybody. But the fundamental point is we have a public safety question or a public safety issue in Louisville that we need to address, and this mayor is seriously stepping up to the plate. Yeah, I'm a Louisville boy. I want all of it. I mean, I want it all. And so I think I'm not going to negotiate with. We're not going to negotiate with ourselves in Louisville. We're going to go requesting it all. We're going to put it in priority. We don't have it in priority order yet. We're going to put it in priority order and try to do those types of things. But I mean, look at the agenda. I don't know if you have it in front of you. Hopefully you do. I know you've been a lot of notes being taken. I mean, the request from the mayor, the plan from the mayor, is magnificent. It's large. It's big. It's not going for that 3rd and 2 first down. It's going for a touchdown. And so we're going to do all we can do to get it done. I feel a heavy burden as I stand here, but it's good because we need to make sure that our town is catapulted forward, and that's what I think this plan is aiming for.
Thank you very much, Representative Nemes and the other friends from the General Assembly here today. I should also mention one other member of the General Assembly who has been very involved as well in the Early Learning Action Group. Senator Cassie Chambers Armstrong is also a member, along with Senator Rocky Adams. and also Josie Raymond, Representative Josie Raymond. So we have included 3 members of the General Assembly on that early learning action group that are focused on making universal pre-K a reality. So back to your question earlier, Mark, that just gives you a sense for how important we know the state has to be in making that bold goal of making universal pre-K a reality. Thank you all very much for coming. I look forward to working with all my colleagues and friends in the General Assembly to make this happen.